So the final episode of Planet Earth is called Ocean Deep, and as you'd expect, that is about the ocean. And the first major bit of footage we get is a whale shark. So whale sharks are the largest fish in the ocean, so it's almost fitting that we touch on them. And we see that they're basically hunting for bait fish, but the bait fish actually swarm the whale shark, using it as a defense against tuna, which are also hunting it. However, the whale shark dives, so the tuna are able to get to the bait fish, and then the whale shark returns and just eats them. We don't see whale sharks feeding too often, and I think because we usually assume that they, feed on krill and plankton and stuff like that, to see them hunting fish is quite cool. And when they talk about how the tuna also have to be wary because they could also be eaten by the whale sharks, that's interesting as well. I didn't really think about that. And then we get oceanic white-tip sharks. So oceanic white-tip sharks are the sharks that are responsible for more human deaths than any other shark. As they say in the diaries, this is mostly because of shipwrecks in the Second World War. We basically just see them swimming around in the ocean. We really hammer home that they are ocean wanderers. And I think it is really good because most animals in the ocean are wanderers. They're just trying to find food. And we get some great shots. They don't do anything particularly amazing, but it's just really good to see them. And then we get a bait ball sequence. So the bait ball sequence is good. We've seen bait balls various times over the years. The best one was in Nature's Great Events, where they had a whole episode dedicated to it. But it's good. We see dolphins and shearwaters basically, attacking this bait ball. We've seen it before. It's good. These sequences are always good. But yeah, I did feel like I had seen this before and since because I had. But it was still enjoyable enough. And then when the lights kind of dim, when the night comes, we see manta rays come out and they basically eat plankton. There's not a lot of narration in this part of the episode. It is very much just haunting imagery of the manta rays catching the plankton. So it's quite good. And then we start to dive. We see the deep ocean. So this is the part of the episode that I remember the most. The deep ocean had been touched upon in Blue Planet. I saw Planet Earth beforehand. So when I think of the deep ocean, this is the program I think of. And it's really cool. We just get loads of weird things that live in the deep ocean, which is kind of what we always get with these kind of sequences. We get like crabs that have got kind of like weird feathers to help them float and catch marine snow. We've got the Dumbo octopus, which just kind of glides through the ocean. We get Vampiroteuthis. That's probably the animal's the most kind of interesting to look at. It looks quite scary because, it's a squid called vampire squid from hell. But we see it's got these bioluminescent little dots on its body, which are kind of detract predators from it. And then we get to the ocean floor where we see that animals that die on the surface sink and they are eaten by crabs, giant isopods, eels. We get a prolonged sequence of what looks like a tuna getting eaten by all these animals, and it's really sped up. It's quite cool. The sound effects are a little bit cheesy, but it's still pretty good. And we get this on a larger scale. We see a dead whale, which are kind of in the latter stages of its decomposition. So there's not a lot left, but you do get a good picture of how gargantuan this feast must be for these animals. We see these volcanic trenches that are basically so far from the sunlight are still able to support life because they've got heat and nutrients rising from the bottom. So all these bacteria are able to flourish because of the heat from these superheated vents. And other animals are able to survive there, like shrimp or lobsters in other parts of the world. But they do a good job of showing you how these pockets of life are so isolated that the animals that live there are found nowhere else. And then, for whatever reason, the conditions are no longer there for them to exist. They just die and the whole community dies out. It's really good. It's a really effective way of talking about that. And then as we start to climb again, we see other animals in the kind of mid-levels of the ocean. We see the nautilus, which are kind of weird animals. I think this episode did a good job of just showing you how weird they are. We often think of them as being a bit like octopus and squid, but they really are nothing like them. They're the closest things to ammonites that exist today. I think it's the longest sequence we get of a nautilus in any of these programs. So I think that was really cool to see as well, yeah. And then we see squid getting hunted by dolphins. That's all nice. Again, dolphins, always good to see them. They popped up a couple of times in this series, so yeah. No complaints there. And then as we get higher, we get to the top of these undersea volcanoes where a lot of fish live. It's the perfect temperature for soft coral, so a lot of fish flock there. We see the mola mola, that's probably the most interesting thing that's there, getting cleaned by reef fishes, and then it dives back down to the depths. Again, this part of the episode does a good job of showing you how a lot of animals kind of go back and forth between the deep ocean and the surface. And then as we reach the surface, we talk about Ascension Island. Ascension Island is the peak of this undersea volcano, which rises above the surface, and because it's in the middle of nowhere, it's a great refuge for birds. So we see frigate birds that are there. It's the only frigate bird colony in the world, apparently. Very strange. And it's not even on the main island, it's on this little rock offshore. It kind of reminded me of Bass Rock a little bit. And then we see turtles also go there. We don't actually see them nesting, but we do see their hatchlings racing back to the ocean. We don't see the predators going for them, thankfully, because I have seen that many times. But they do a good job of talking about how some of them actually just drown in the surf. It's not something you hear about very often. Usually you think about all the birds and crabs that go for them. That's an additional threat. And then we see sailfish. It's another bait ball sequence, basically. It's the sailfish going for fish. and the frigate birds going for them. It's basically the same footage we got earlier in the episode, only instead of dolphins we get sailfish, and instead of shearwaters we get frigate birds. It's alright, again, bait balls is fine. I think it's probably more interesting though because we don't really see sailfish very often. So I think while we see a lot of dolphin bait balls, we don't see a lot of sailfish ones. So it's good to talk about that. And again, we see the different hunting techniques they have. Not only are they really fast, they use camouflage as a sort of signal to each other to let each other know what they're going to do. Probably so they don't bump into each other because, you know, being hit by a swordfish's nose is probably not very nice. So yeah, that was a good bit as well. And then we end the episode with blue whales. If you're going to end a series like this with any animal, it's going to have to be blue whales, isn't it? I mean, there isn't any other option. They're the biggest animals in the world. Again, I can happily just watch footage of blue whales swimming around and be entertained by it. It's always going to do it for me. And it does a good job of using that to talk about the environment by showing you how blue whale numbers are nothing like what they were. And it ends on the note that we have the power to save the world or condemn it, basically. And then we get the diaries. It's the people filming the oceanic whitetips. You do see a lot of the times when the sharks are coming in, bumping them, clearly in attack mode. It's quite good. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good diary sequence. It's not the best one of the series, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, overall, this episode, very good. Again, it's a good way to end the series. I can't think of another episode I'd want to end the series with, to be perfectly honest with you. And again, highlights, I mean, the deep sea stuff's great. The blue whales I really like. Oceanic whitetips, whale sharks, you name it. It's all really good. So yeah, overall, really good stuff. And this series overall, great series. It is still a classic. I think one of the reasons it's still so popular maybe is because at the time when this came out, the general public weren't as aware of environmental issues. And this episode does stray away from them for the most part. But it does paint a picture of a perfect natural world, untouched by humans. And of course now, years later, we realise that's not the case. So maybe there's an element of nostalgia for that time where we weren't as worried about what was happening to the natural world. Overall, this episode, really good, and yeah, the series is great as well. So yeah, what were your highlights? Let me know in the comments below. And also, as this is the last episode, I don't have anything to talk about. What do you want me to do next? So yeah, let me know what series you want me to tackle next. I will be doing my top 10 video next week, so look forward to that. And as ever, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't, perfectly fine. And yeah, I will see you next week. Goodbye.